How y'all doing? Good.
So when you get to this point, like, do you feel like you have a good idea of what this team is going to be about, or do you want to see you guys play a couple games that count before you really get an idea of that?
Yeah, I mean, the whole team hasn't played yet, so would definitely be a special opportunity to get everybody in the game and, see what we got. So very excited.
Well, now that week one's here and you've seen all the changes this offseason on defense, everything's kind of coming together. What can this defense be?
Yeah, I think this defense can be, a very, very great defense. I don't want to put any stats or any numbers on everything, but I know if, we take it one play at a time and we are correct on our details, I think this defense has the opportunity to be very special. So, like I said, I'm very excited about the new additions, draft picks, free agent picks, and, the guys that are still here, and definitely developing something special.
How will we know it's working as we're watching? Is it going to be the pass rush? Is it going to be play of the linebackers, the back end? How will we know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why there's 11 people on the field. It's about the whole team. It's about everyone, offense, defense, special teams. You'll know by watching everybody. So, like I said, we'll be very detailed on our things, taking it one play at a time, and then, you guys will see from there.
Speaking of pass rush, can you tell through these practices that there's a difference, or again, is that something that until you're really able to go after the quarterback for real, you're not going to really know until that happens?
Yeah, I could tell there's a difference from just, going against, of course, our offense. And, Denver had a great, day in Denver to practice against some new bodies. And so, yeah, I can tell a little bit. But at the end of the day, week one is Sunday, so that's where, we'll really tell what this defense and what this team will be.
Do you know what this defense's calling card will be now, or do you need to wait a few weeks to kind of see what?
Yeah, I mean, we are, JG does a great job of us understanding the game's about limiting explosives, causing turnovers. So, if we can do that, then I think we'll be in a good spot.
Obviously, every week is important, getting a win just in terms of the actual record, but is week one extra important in terms of some sort of mental thing, just getting off, getting started with a win?
I think it's more as just living in the moment, living in the present, taking it one day at a time, and then on Sunday, everyone knows what to do. Everyone's detailed, and we'll see what we have. I don't think it's about ultimately just who we're playing and winning week one. There's a 17-week season, so it's all about what we do throughout the day, throughout the present, and then on Sunday, we'll see what happens.
What do you see when you look at the Saints on film?
Say that again?
When you look at the Saints on film, what do you see from their offense?
Yeah, you have a second year QB in Spencer Rattler, a guy who can throw inside the pocket, outside the pocket, has a lot of zip on his footballs, very accurate, can run the ball a little bit, and the receivers and the running backs are guys that create explosives and guys that can catch the ball, run the ball. You got Alvin Kamara, who's been there for a while, who's really one of the top 5 running backs in this league. Can run throughout the tackles, can be a first, second, third down back. So just definitely having to stop the run is a big thing for us, and doing what we do, being detailed on our plays, and seeing where that takes us.
How would you describe the atmosphere and just the vibe of playing in the Superdome?
Oh, man, I played in it, I think one time. It was very special, just hearing the music, hearing the crowd. Very fun place to play at. Would definitely be a fun place to play week one. So definitely excited for the opportunity to go out there and put our best foot forward.
How has Nick's defensive scheme kind of grown and evolved over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten, great at doing what he does, and with the additions, of course, we're able to do a little more things. So just having that understand for the players to know what we're supposed to do, and that's what OTAs was for, to know the little intricate details of why we're calling each call and the reasoning, and giving everybody their details on what they have to do with each and every call. And I think, we're at that point where, the DBs or the corners know now what certain other players do, instead of just the corners knowing their job, or instead of just the linebackers knowing their job and the D-line's job, they kind of know DB's job as well. So just everyone coming together and understanding each job, but also understanding your job, play in and play out. I definitely think that's going to help us as a team, as a defense.
Why is it important for you to understand everyone else's job on the defense?
Yeah, just, understanding where your help is. It's a game with 11 people. If there's help for a slant as a corner, you don't want to be inside leverage and jump the slant knowing that you have help. Now you understand you have help, so you can, rely on the help and then do your job. If, let's say it's a 9-ball or a go ball, now you're understanding that you can, play a little more loose on that. So little different details that they know and, the DBs know that can ultimately help us as a group.
Nick and Gigi talk a lot about understanding the why behind the importance of players understanding the why. Is that related to what you were just talking about, or kind of why is it important to understand why things are happening rather than just understanding your side?
Yeah, it's important why, because it gives guys the ability to play fast and the ability to know that person's job to ultimately help their job. If I'm a safety and I'm supposed to be outside leverage, and I know I have Mac as a middle helper, why would I be inside leverage and let it outgo for 8-7 yards? That for me, that's just understanding each and every person's job. I know he's right inside. I know I can play outside leverage, and I know if I get this 7 cut, if I get it out, I could jump it because he's my help. So just little details like that ultimately helps us play faster, helps us not have to feel like we're covering everything, and just playing football fast.
Was this your 9th week one?
Yeah.
Still get excited for it? Same jitters as 8 years ago?
Yeah. Very excited. If not more. Just having the ability to, of course, understand my job, but understand everybody else's job, and definitely helps me as a player, but also can help other players and communicate that. And I still get those jitters, excitement. I don't really get nervous. I never really got nervous. I thought that was kind of weird for me, but I just get very excited, and I trust in the grind each and every day and each and every week. And on Sundays, I just try to play fast and bring that along with everyone else.
You have a young corner like Will, who's going to get a lot of playing time starting Sunday. Are you aware are you extra aware maybe when he's on the field to kind of maybe give him a little bit more help, because that learning curve might be a little steep coming into that?
Yeah, I think Will's a great rookie, great player. He understands it. He sits next to me in meeting rooms, so I definitely try to question him or ask him if he has any questions, because as a rookie, you don't really want to slow down the pace of meetings. You kind of might not want to ask this question. You might know it, but you don't really know it. So, I might just ask him. If he stutters, I might ask the coach, "Oh, what is this?" So he's a very smart player, though. Very excited for him. A guy who came from Michigan, came from playing big games, and just told him this it's the NFL. As long as you know your job, you got here for a reason, and I'm very excited to play with Will. So definitely excited for him to get his first time playing in a real football game in the NFL.
Every year we hear everyone wants to sit next to you and JT in a meeting room. We've heard it from Rabbit, from Will, from Garrett. Is it a race to the seat next to you guys or between you in the meeting rooms?
Oh, no. I'm usually by myself, but, I might just look at someone and be like, come on, come sit right here, So, I think those guys don't really want to be in the way. And, for me as a vet, I just welcome them in with open arms, because at the end of the day, you're only strong as your weakest link. And I'm not saying anyone's weak, but I'm 9 years in, and these guys are 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, 7, 8 years in. Like I know a little bit about football, so if I think that my knowledge can help them, and if they have questions for me or if I have questions for them, they're open arms. So it's great.
Is that what you did to Will? Is that what you did to Will? Told him to just come.
Oh yeah. I saw Will sitting right there. It's like, come on over here, brother. Come sit right here. So he we have the same agent too. So being able to text him when he got drafted and just tell him I was excited for him to be here is special. So, like I said, he's a great player. Very excited for him to play his first NFL game.
When you call a player to sit next to you, is that their seat for the whole year or just that one meeting?
Oh no, it's their seat for the year. A couple years ago it was Star. Star was sitting next to me, brought him in, and now it's Will.
When did you start doing that?
At the time when Dennis Gardeck, he sat next to me. So when he was gone, no one was really sitting next to me anymore. So that's when I kind of just brought certain guys in.
Do you plan for addressing the team, whether it's in the hotel before the game, on the field before the game, or are those more spontaneous kind of?
Yeah, I think they're more spontaneous out of me, just however I'm feeling. That's I feel like for me, that's how I kind of am able to communicate, more spontaneous. I don't want them to think that, okay, Buddha's talking, have them to to know early. It's kind of just whatever I'm feeling, I might just communicate it.
Buddha, before you met JG, did you ever use the phrase "no"?
No, not at all. Not at all. But now that he's here, and it's a great saying actually. Some people know it. Some people know it. So it when you say it you understand. Like it reminds me of like when I was in a test or something. It's like I know this question, but do I know it? And it's like, which one, A, B, or C? It's one of those situations. So as long as we know it, I think, I see that question, it's that one for sure. That's what it is.
Like in daily life, like just outside at home, I know this or something like that?
Not really. Yeah, not really. I know I'm supposed to take the trash out. Not really. I know it's Monday. Is it trash day? Oh, it is trash day. So.
You've talked a lot about how much you like playing in Nick's defense and the confusion that it creates for opposing offenses. Can you ever see during the game the confusion that it's creating for offenses? Can you look at the opposing quarterback and he's confused right now?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I'm always in the back, but sometimes when I'm down at the line of scrimmage and I hear guys and they're not calling me 3, they're calling me Buddha. It's like, watch Buddha, and I'm just laughing because I'm not even a part of this. But I hope you guys scan and look at me and give D lineman a one-on-one situation. So I love to kind of mess with offensive players, and even if there's someone jumps off sides and I'm talking to the QB's asking me, were you supposed to blitz there? I'm like, yeah. And I'm not, so just little things, and just enjoy loving playing this game.
We always hear JG talking about known unknowns. Is there a challenge in week one when there's a brand new head coach there? Obviously, Kamara and Spencer have been there, but coming in. Yeah,
exactly. It's a big challenge. Just being able to have to, as a player, knowing that last year's Saints offense, they have some same personnel, but it's totally different formations and calls and a totally different OC. So having to go back and watch various films from where, the head coach / OC has been. So having to kind of watch a bunch of different film, whether that's Dallas, Chargers, Philly, Saints for the player personnel, but yeah, it's very difficult as a defense to go in on a week one and understand that these are totally different, calls that we're going to be getting. So watching last year's film isn't really about the formations. It's about more personnel from the Saints, and then watching other film for possibly little tells on, personnel and formations from other teams.
Is that more fun for you to have to like kind of investigate it like that?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's more fun. It makes my job a little harder, but it's definitely, that's where we get better. That's how we have an edge in a sense, is just understanding, who we're playing and what they like to do and who their best players are.
Is it a kind of an educated guessing game in a sense, where like he likes to do this is his...
Yeah, I mean, that's every week. That's every week. It's an educated guessing game. Our coaches do a great job in watching film and giving us the whys on what we're doing and why we're doing it. But at the end of the day, they could be doing something totally different, and we have to adapt and go about our rules the way that we're supposed to, whatever calls that we have. So, it's all about being adapt and being able to correct the things on the sideline as well, because we could be watching all this film and they could be doing something totally different, and that's when we have to go about our rules and each and every play. So, yeah.
When does that happen? When you prepare something for something very specific, and then that just doesn't happen, you're kind of like, we just wasted all that.
Yeah, knock on wood with Nick. I mean, it really hasn't happened much. He's done a great job of he's a film junkie. All the coaches are. My coach, he's a film junkie for sure. So, I'm going up in his office, 7 a.m. He's already been watching 2-3 hours of film. So, all of our coaches, of course, Nick is film junkies. They love watching film, and they love just giving us the correct details and data for us to be able to play fast. So, I've definitely always appreciated that from this whole coaching staff.
Thanks, Budda.
Thank you, guys.